Um, that's great. So my name is Josiah, or Joe, it's whatever works. We're a small publication, basically just starting off kind of blogs online in a little town or big town, however they want to look at it, in Idaho, Southeast Idaho. And our goal is to start looking at alternative lifestyles to a degree, or primarily in media like music, artistry, believe it or not, audiobooks is one thing we're looking into. And so we're also trying to help kids in our town know what they can look forward to. So it's like, for example, I'm interviewing a narrator right now, and so people can know, like, hey, you don't just have to go into music, because we have a lot of kids here that are trying to be musicians, and it's going not well for a lot of them, and some of them are doing okay. The reason why we reached out to you is because of we see this trend going on of a lot of people doing like signed copies. Hey, subscribe to me. Let's go for it. And I wanted to be like, well, how does this get into how long you've been actually working on this? I've seen that you've got three albums that you've already got going forward on. And so that we just wanted to pick your brain to know more about your process and everything going on, if that's okay with you, and just to understand everything that's going on.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Sweet. So Dave, but you go by Hazel Bloom.
Yep.
What came up with that title?
So that is actually it's a little sentimental kind of. I had a good friend pass away like 10 years ago now, but his last name was Hazel, so I kind of went from Hazel Bloom to kind of like something to keep his name alive essentially. So I kind of keep the dead living, I guess, keep their name going.
That's
That's
cool.
kind of like the lower end quick story behind it, but it's sentimental to me at least.
Nice, nice. So I take it, like many people, you've been a musician for quite a while. In a way, a lot of people look at it as from singing from such a young age, finding their first instrument, playing and going forward. When did you really start thinking about getting into music?
I think I was like 13. 13's when I got my first instrument. I started like looking at other bands that inspired me. I don't know, it was just something about music and the way it kind of like gave me like this euphoric feeling kind of that just made me want to do that same thing and make music that makes people feel the way that I felt when I heard like a song that I loved for the first time.
Hmm.
So that was basically the basis behind it. But I've been playing since I was like 13 and like countless bands all over the like spectrum of genres. But it's always been that underlying feeling that I'm I'm not going to be fulfilled unless like I can make that feeling for someone else and how it feels for me. So it's like it's not about the I guess making a living off it
Hmm.
because I'm currently not making a living off it. So
Yeah.
it's just my one true passion that I would love to make a living off of, but it doesn't matter to me because it's what I love doing and how I want to make other people feel.
Hmm. What was your first instrument that you got?
Bass guitar.
Really?
Yep,
Starting with the bass.
yep. I was
Wow.
really into it. It was mostly because me and my friends were starting a band and
Ah,
everyone else played a guitar, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll pick up bass.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's good. What were some of the first riffs and core songs that you learned off that thing?
It was probably Seven Nation Army by
Yep.
White Stripes
Yep.
because that was just an easy iconic bass line. I did I probably did all the basic beginners like Smoke on the Water,
Mm.
but like the real probably the real first songs I actually learned because I wanted to was it's called Mara and Me by Say Anything.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
By Say Anything, then I learned Make Damn Sure by Taking Back Sunday. That was probably like my core influences like pop punk back in the day. So that's really what inspired me to go and what
Hmm.
songs I loved.
So you grew up on 2000s music a lot and all that. So
Yeah,
how old are you now? You're
I'm 30.
30 years old. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see a lot of info of how where he grew up and how old he is and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
no, I get it. I'm just literally 5 years older than you are, so I get it. Like, this how I grew up as well. And you're from uh think your it says here that you grew up in central Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Where is that? What kind of areas? Because I think when people think of Massachusetts, they just think Boston. And
yeah,
so when you're like, there's more to Massachusetts than just Boston, dude.
yeah.
So,
So Central, I guess it's kind of like it's more suburban, obviously, than
hmm
Boston. It's like suburbs, lots of forest,
hmm
kind of like cow towns, I guess. So it's really urban and not much going on. I mean, we got a bigger city called Worcester. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but
hmm
that Worcester is basically Central Mass, and like that's pretty much the core of where I've spent like most of my life.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be looking that place up. I come from the kind of the same area. Like we're a highway town where we're at, so it's like very urban, lots of farms everywhere
yeah.
you go. So just very a lot of people like to retire here and all that. So yeah, I get it, man. Like completely like, oh yeah, just run of the mill. Um, when did you first start getting into recording music?
Um, Probably late late high school. So like, what was that, 17, 18? That
Wow.
was like that was when I first got into a band that wanted to like be more serious, I guess. I feel like that's
hmm
what you saw obviously stop playing shows and making music, but you don't really have the money to record when you're
hmm
that young. So I think that was about 18 and 19. I was in like two to three bands and we all started recording because we wanted to eventually tour and like go on the road because that's what obviously what everyone wants to do when they're late teens, just play music and hopefully make a living off of it.
What was the band?
So it's a band called Scan the Sky.
Scan the Sky.
Yeah, they're not doing anything anymore. We think we still have our music up on Spotify, but
Nice.
it was a cool band. It was I don't know if you ever listened to the Hotel Year at all, but we were neighbors with them, so we got to like piggyback off of like what they were doing. So we
Oh,
learned a
nice.
lot from them.
Cool.
So yeah, it was like a nice community back in like my teenage years around where I live. There was like so many local bands, so it was like a huge community. So like it felt cool to not just be like one band playing for no one. There was always like a huge community that loved going to those shows and hanging out and playing music.
Yeah. Nice, dude. That's awesome. So, when did you start going solo?
Uh, Probably 20, 2018, 2019. That was I guess about the age where I was like, I want to do this. It was like it's so hard to be in a band and just be with like all these different people that have different personalities because
hmm
everyone wants something else. Everyone wants to write something else, and
hmm
it just got so hard to like try to communicate with everyone. Everyone's got different schedules. You got to work jobs now, so it just got really difficult to like double down and go like as hard as I wanted to because
hmm
this is all I want to do. The end goal is obviously to make a full-time living doing music, and it was just hard to get that connection with a lot of other people. So it was like, fuck it, I'll just try it by myself, see how it goes. If I
hmm
want it bad enough, I'll make it work, and that's kind of like what I've gone up to today.
It's working. I mean, you've got a decent following. I mean, on your Spotify, you've got roughly, what was it, 36,000 listeners, I believe is what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then I mean, your Instagram, you've got about 41,000 followers, which is
Yeah,
that's pretty big. I mean, kind of where I mean, it's not a million, but then again, that's like
yeah,
if you're like 21 Pilots and all that other fun stuff. But I mean, like for starting where you're going for it's like 2025 now, so not even 10 years, you're actually doing really, I mean, that's good growth. I mean, that's
yeah.
really dope.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So when do you think your game changed? Like, is there any like points where you noticed there was a decent starting traction when you started?
Um, I guess I had a few songs I did like relatively well when I first started. They got like over 10,000 streams on Spotify, so I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, people actually care. Like it got in like the Spotify algorithm or whatever, and it
Uh-huh.
went out to a bunch of people. So I was like, oh, I guess I must be doing something right. But
Yeah.
like, well, I'm trying to stop like worrying about the numbers nowadays and just like make the music I want, put it out. The people who care will find it eventually.
Yeah.
That's kind of like why I'm running like all those ads that you see.
Yeah.
The people that like it doesn't matter what it is. If they like it, they'll go find it somewhere and they'll
Mhm.
get it.
No, yeah, that's not bad. What did you say that was your first or second album that I got kind of a little bit of traction there?
Those are I think that was like my first EP I put out way back in like 2019. I think
Oh
that was
wow.
about that. But like I don't know if you've ever even listened to my music at all. Like
I've been
it's changing
listening.
so much.
Yeah, it is. I've been making sure to listen to a lot of what you have on it. I believe me, I've noticed a big
Yeah.
curve that goes onto it. You know, some of it I'm like, yeah, not my thing. Some of it I'm like, actually, that's really, really dope. And I'm like, my wife, I'm married and I have a wife. She's like, this isn't half bad. And I'm like, my wife is a lot older than I am, but not a lot. But she's more of a '90s kid or more of like an '80s, '90s kid. So she's to
Yeah.
hear that from her, I'm like, that's pretty dope that she actually have that kind of a span on everything. But that's cool. So is it just you got traction? Were you running ads when that was going on as well, and then it just kind of picked up, or was it just
Uh,
something like I'm just gonna put that to see where it goes, and it just started kind of picking up?
it kind of started of just like I'm just gonna throw it out there, see what happens, and like
Nice.
it started doing well. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll put some money behind it to see where it
Okay.
goes. And like there was a little bit of a spike, but it's kind of like evens out with the marketing ads a little bit.
hmm
But it definitely just did better, just like putting it out there, and it just went off by itself somehow.
Wow. I think that's actually a good thing to state right there is like putting money behind it. Like I've noticed a lot of people that are starting over is like when you start investing in yourself and the point that you're going on, you really start seeing some of that kind of that work starting to come back on you for sure. So that's really dope. So it's like, okay, people like this. I'm going to start actually investing into this. Um, and so what did you start with when you first started recording? Did you go to a studio or did you just do everything in your room?
So I go to my friend. He lives like 20 minutes away from me, and he's like a full producer and does like everything. So I
Nice.
started with him because I didn't know anything about recording myself
hmm
at that time, and then I ended up moving away. So I was like, I still want to write and put out music and not like go to a studio where I have to pay like $3,000. So I'm like,
hmm
I might as well learn how to do this. So like my album. It's called Forgotten Youth and Dusted Frames. That album,
hmm
I recorded most of that myself. So I started learning
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, I think. I started just to like be more productive and stop waiting for other people.
Yeah.
But I right now I do a little bit of mix of both. I go to my friend and I do some myself right now.
Nice. What is what do you use when you're at home? What is the equipment that you use primarily?
I
Like your
use Logic Pro.
Logic Pro?
Yeah, Logic Pro a lot, and I just use like plugins from Waves, Slate Digital. Um, I have a Slate mic. Um, I can't even think of my oh, I have an Apollo interface. So it's decent equipment. It's expensive. So
Yeah.
I was like I might as well try to make it as good quality as I can if I'm gonna actually go into it.
I get that. I'm the same boat. I got a lot of the same. I got different equipment, but I get it. I use Native Instruments for all my stuff. I use
Yeah.
uh, I use Ableton for for myself on a lot of things that I do. But yeah, I get it. It's especially like when you're going like Native is crazy because Native and Ableton are crazy because they're out of country, which becomes a
Yeah, yeah,
weird thing. So it's a little bit
yeah.
more. But yeah, I get it. It's a lot of money for it. So you just swing back and forth between you and your buddy. You're still in Massachusetts, or did you move out?
No, I'm still in Mass now. I lived in LA for like 4 years, but I'm
Wow.
back in Mass now. Yeah.
What was going on in LA? Just chasing the music dream?
Yeah, yeah, I always loved like LA and like the music out there. So I was like maybe I'll go and try to see how it is, but
Uh-huh.
it was beautiful and nice, but it was I kind of liked I learned to like that there's not many like musicians where I am in Worcester now. So like
Yeah.
you can kind of stand out more than being a tiny fish in a huge pond like in
hmm
LA because everyone's out there trying to do the
Oh
same
yeah.
thing you are,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's hard to like stand out.
How old were you when you moved to LA?
I think I was 25. Yeah, I was
Wow.
25 to about 29.
That's quite a while.
Yeah.
Wow. And
It was during COVID too, so it was a
oh,
little rough.
yeah, that is a tad rough for sure, especially over there.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
my family's. I have a lot of family in Northern Cali, and I'm just like, why are you still there?
yeah,
Yeah, I get it, man. So moving back home, and it's different though too. Like I'm sure, like was there a lot of a difference in I guess kind of culture when it comes to writing music? I mean, I would think because I do hear in some of your earlier stuff, it does sound a little bit kind of su like Southern Cali, kind of West Coast vibes to a degree, I guess is what people would call it. Kind of like you have
yeah,
like Midwestern emo and stuff like that as its own little thing, and then when you go to the East, it's still a different like. Brand New is a great band,
yeah.
but it's a different sound comparative to like, um, uh, oh shoot, what was it? Hawthorne Heights. You know, it's a completely
Oh,
different
yeah,
deal. So
yeah,
I do notice that you do change a lot. So it's like I notice that you do take some of that influence in some of your songs, especially like early, like your album, Who I Thought I Wanted to Be. You can clearly tell there's a lot of more of a Western feel to it. When you listen to your second album, Forgotten Youth is more kind of a blend, in my opinion, to a degree. I also like, I will say, I like the fact that you named a lot of your songs like that after a lot of the emo bands back at that time.
yeah.
Uh, so is that, was that, so I do notice that there's a lot of hip hop influence. What kind of gravitated you to like hip hop beats and stuff like that when it comes to writing your music?
Yeah, so like that was a huge thing. It's like I was into like back when I released like the earlier
Hmm.
music, it was kind of a mix of two things because it was the first time I've ever like went solo and doing music. I was like I really like only played bass, I play guitar, but like
Hmm.
I was like, how am I gonna make a full band song with just myself?
Hmm.
So that's kind of like why I gravitated towards more of the more electronic music, I guess, because it was between that. I didn't know how to like make a full band sound just by myself. I was thinking
Hmm.
probably too hard about it than I should have been. And
Hmm.
I was listening to more artists kind of like Black Bear or Quinn 92. I was more influenced by like the R&B, hip hop, pop style in like that point in my life. So that's kind of like why I liked it and why I was writing that way. But now like you can it's shifting obviously that you can see
Hmm.
in my later stuff. I was like kind of going, I guess, back to like the roots of what I loved, which was like the emo pop punk stuff.
Hmm.
So I was like, look, I figured this out. I'm gonna go back to my roots because that's what like feels right to me at this moment, I guess. And then it kind of just kept evolving from there. My sound now, then I'm just like trying to mix the two together kind of now.
Hmm.
Still have like that pop synthy vibe, but with like the emo pop rock type style.
That's
So
not bad. I like
it's
that.
been like a constant like evolution of all of
Yeah.
it.
Is there, so what songs do you have? Is there, I couldn't quite notice in some of it because, like, 'cause I work a lot. There's some things that I notice is like some of the drums now, especially now that you have electric drums or any of those actually, do you have an actual drummer drumming, like your buddy or anything like that drumming for you? Is it still just all electronic drums that you have on a pad or so?
No, it's all electric.
All electric.
I've never had a drummer, and I cannot play drums to save my life. So,
I get that,
but
man. I truly get that. Yeah, I try to do that too, and like all mine is just loops that I find when I'm just playing music for myself. I'm just like I can't
yeah,
do a beat with life of me.
yeah,
So
I get it. I can't like move my legs with my arms to stay on time. I just can't do it.
I get that. So you say that this isn't your full-time gig. What do you do on the side? That it's while getting your music going forward and all that.
I actually I do IT work.
Really
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I do to pay the bills right now.
nice.
You know, like the nice steady healthcare. You know,
Yeah,
keep that while I have it.
really. How long have you been working as an IT as an IT worker?
Like 5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
A just local company in town?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's I guess it started in like Mass, but now it's like more international, but started in Mass.
Wow. And so, geez, like, is it part-time work or is it full-time gig?
It's full time. Yeah, it's
Wow.
full time, but it's work from home, luckily, so I get to like do all my music shit when I have like some free time. So that's really nice.
Nice. I take it's no wife and kids yet.
I have a wife, but no
You have a
kids.
wife, no
No.
kids. That's probably where it is.
Yeah,
That's the no kids part. Believe me.
yeah, yeah,
Like literally right
yeah.
before you came on, my wife's like, they're driving me nuts. I'm
Oh
like,
yes.
I get that, man. I get it. No, I get it. It's nice to have that. That's congrats, being married, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. You too. You too.
Thanks. Uh, does that influence a lot of what you do being when you got married?
Yeah, yeah. Being married, so we wanted to be closer to family.
Yeah.
If and when we have kids,
Hmm.
they're around family while they're still around.
Hmm. I get
So
that.
that,
No,
yeah,
you want that. Trust me, you want that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so what do you think? Like, here's a good thing because I don't think a lot of people get this. They always hear how bands like, oh, this is how they were, and then they got married. What do you think your wife has influenced with you when it comes to your writing? Like, I'm sure she's also the one that like keeps pushing you. Like my wife does it when I do stuff like this. She's like, "Come on, you could go out there," and she does that. Compared to like when you're single, you're just kind of like, I kind of hope I'm doing this right. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
for it and all that. What do you think she's helped bring to the table when it comes to writing music and recording and getting this through and all that?
Oh yeah, she definitely supports me a lot. She tells
Yeah.
me to always keep going, keep writing. She wants me to play more shows because I don't really play out that much because it's just
Yeah.
me. So I gotta balance my time with that, like find other people. But she
Uh-huh.
she pushes me a lot. Like she inspires like a lot of the writing that I do, obviously, because we do so much together, and there's so many like different things we've done over the past that influence what I'm writing. I
Yeah.
write a lot from like my personal stories and all that.
Uh-huh.
So she influences a lot, and it's important to have like a backbone behind you that isn't
Hmm.
just yourself,
Yeah.
that actually keeps you pushing forward. Because obviously you've probably felt this. You just feel like you're stuck in the mud and lost, and feel like you're not doing the right things. So it's
Hmm.
important to have like someone behind you that believes in you, that
Oh
you're
yeah.
doing like good, and like if you're being hard on yourself, like sometimes I'm like, oh, this song is terrible, this is shit, but like it's nice to have that reassurance to keep you going.
Oh, it is. I know. Like sometimes my wife is, she's a little biased on it sometimes. Sometimes she'll look at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm
Yeah,
like, "I don't know." But no, like I agree. Like that's the one thing for me is like I'll find myself in a rut, and then next thing I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's like, I gotta be better for my family. I just want to get in this harder. So I feel you on that for sure. It's always nice to
yeah.
have that support. Um, we actually have a guy in our town who's kind of in the same boat as you. He has a band, but it's just him. So he hires a lot of people to go with him. When you do tour or when you do shows, um, what's that like? So do you just have someone just have a track beat that's being recorded and you just sing along with it, or is it more an acoustic vibe? Like, how does that work for you when you're doing stuff like that compared to when you're at home?
That's what I used to do it like just me. I'll have like backtracks and I'll play like
Hmm.
guitar or bass and synth while I'm doing it.
Hmm.
But that's where I'm trying to like get into the vibe of a full band. So I want to go out, either find players, hire out, or find my old friends if they want to play with me. But in the past, I was doing it just me with backtracking.
Hmm.
But I want like that full band feel because I feel like it feels different when you're
Hmm.
like on the stage with actual like an actual drummer and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely working towards like that guy in your town to get more hired out people.
Yeah. Nice. I get that. So you work full time, you do this on your free time and all that. Um, of course, you had to put money to come over with the ads. How did you, so when did you start doing the whole entire, hey, send message me and I'll send you a CD. Of course, you just ask for the shipping to be covered, which is completely understandable on that point. Um, I noticed that this is a new trend. Like, I think it started, what, a year ago? Because I don't think I remember seeing this a few years ago. How did that? Is it you just saw someone else do this, or is this something that they recommend to you, or are you? Because I'm when I listen to you, I just see you as more of like an independent artist. I don't see a label behind you or anything like that. So how
Yeah.
did that come about? This idea that I'm going to do this is just you just saw it as well, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so I have like a mentor right now. It
Mm-hmm.
is just me. I don't have a label, so I'm like
Mm-hmm.
fully independent. But I work with you probably never heard it, but they're a company called Indepreneur. But
Oh, okay.
they're basically they're basically a company that helps independent artists, and if they help you on the way. But they had like all these classes, and one of their classes was like the free plus shipping and handling
Mm-hmm.
course, where they teach you how to do like sell or not sell, give away the CD, sell it, sign it, make it like personable for people. So they basically have that course that a lot of other independent musicians that you mentioned that probably see them out all the
Yeah.
time. But that's where I basically learn all my marketing through them.
It's smart. I will say the other one, like my wife ended up getting an album from the same type of idea from a kid from, we're doing an album review for him, from Britain, who's kind of more pop punk than pop. But one thing I have to say, I don't think I saw this on his, but I liked yours where you're like, hey, yeah, it's an added edition. Like I think it's $7 you said that you cut off, where you have like a whole understanding of the backtrack of the song, why it was written, why it was like that. That I thought was really cool because it for me, like I said, only 5 years older than you are, but like I do this, so I watch a lot of stuff. But it reminds me to a degree of like Guitar Center sessions where you're like, oh, this is a dope song, but then you listen to like why they wrote it, how they did it, why it went through. And I think it's kind of smart that you do it more of kind of like a hey, buy, I don't think I think you did it as like a subscription base of understanding when you have more things come through. I thought that was really smart. And I'm guessing that also came from the company as well. But like, is it just do you do this once a month? Is this one time thing? Or is this like how do you work with that? Because that's a smart idea. I think it's a really good idea to kind of get to understand, be more
Oh,
personable about it.
yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah, so I think kind of that was more of my idea because
Nice.
personally, like when I like have a band that I love, I like or I hear the song that I love, I'm like I like to know like the story behind it, I guess.
Yeah.
Just that's just me. So like that's kind of like where I got the idea. I might as well like everything has all my songs like have a story, like every song has a story. I figure like I might as well just write it down, tell my story of the song because someone might come along and appreciate that as well. So like
Hmm.
that's kind of like I made the whole backstory to every song and I just put it on my website. And I was like, hey, maybe I'll throw it in to see if anyone likes it. If anyone likes it, cool, they'll take it. And that's kind of like how it evolved into something. And I put it in like put it with the CD. So if you get the CD, you can go online and see everything behind this song. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's kind of like where it started and how it's kind of slowly evolving into like not a membership type thing because like I just give it out for free. It's on
Hmm.
like I have this little I guess membership type thing, but it's free, but it has all that in there if you want to learn more about me and my story and the songs. So it's a small thing that I do that to give out to extra to people if they like my music. I think it's important to hear the backstory of like everything that I do.
Nice. Do you think, I was wondering, do you think you'll ever probably do like, I don't know if I've seen it on your Instagram. There's one guy I watched that I really like because you see some of his name's Steven Stanley, and he'll show you his recording setup and how he's doing stuff. Do you ever think about maybe for more of your promotional stuff like, hey, this is how we record this. This is what I use. This is my bass. This is the plugins that I'm using. Like, I think that would be, especially with writing the song, the process for other people that understand, like, man, how can I do this? And because I remember when I first started, I was like, dude, I don't even know what a DAW is. What is this?
Yeah.
And so when having to do all the research, and I wish a lot of artists like you, like, hey, this is how I wrote this, because it helps, like you said, I'm like, this is what the song's about. That helps other people with writing processes. So it's like, do you think maybe in some of your reels or any further going on, you'll probably be like, this is behind the scenes of what I kind of have. This song is this song. This is what I used to make this.
I think so.
Oh,
My
might cut out again.
Cool, cool. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna look into that more and
Yeah.
start doing it because I don't have it to that full extent, but I have like I made some videos of like in the studio, like me recording, me doing vocals. Uh, like where I used my other friend. I like kind of
Yeah,
did some clips of him just doing the recording process. But I think that would I definitely I have heard of like Steven Stanley and saw his videos too.
yeah,
So I think I am gonna like start doing that in the next couple of months just to see if people enjoy it.
that'd
Because
be
like
dope.
now that you've told me that you enjoy it, because I guess I might as well try to do it because I didn't even know that was like a niche thing that some people would like. So that's cool
It
to hear.
it reminds me of like like back in the early 2000s and 90s where you'd see all the bands like this is how they recorded the album. So you like see like Tom on his guitar like this is how they wrote Go or I Miss You or all that other fun stuff. And even though it's like it's kind of goofy because like he's all sitting there like where are you? And you're like what's going on? But then like you hear the full track and you're like oh dang that's dope. But or just you don't I don't see people doing that. Another who was the other? I think was it 21 Pilots? No, NF's producer does it too, which I thought was really dope. Where he freaking shows you how he came up with like the chords and what he's going for and making that moodiness. And I was like, that's freaking sick. He doesn't do that often, which kind of blows. But I'm like, I really love that process. Um, but yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, I think I personally like those videos too. Like I just never thought like someone would care enough about me to watch like my process. I
I
guess
get it.
that's why I've done it because like I guess it's you take and leave it because like I don't think I'm a huge artist, so I'm like why would someone watch me do that? But
Hmm.
I think it's definitely a cool idea that I would like to get into as well. It's just getting to that, I think.
Yeah. No joke. I believe me, I get it. Like, for example, like Steven Stanley, the one thing I want to learn from him is like, how do you get that large horn sound that he always does in all his songs? It's like always a
Yeah.
staple. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, is that five different things? And I, like, for yours, it's really good. Like the latest one that I saw on Facebook, which I guess is it a song that hasn't come out yet, or is all your music already released already? Because
Uh, Everything I've posted, I think, is already out right now. I have like
okay,
other songs in the backlog, but I haven't put anything out on like Instagram or anything like that.
okay, yeah, because on your Facebook, what was it? I just had it here a minute ago. Here it is. It's your pin to your top. And I don't, it doesn't tell me what the title of it. It says, if someone else would, if it was someone else, would it matter? And as you hashtag Fall Out Boy alt music and new music. I like this. This is something I listen to primarily. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, I like how dirty the guitars are and everything like that. That's like that would be something I'm really interested in. Also, I like how you filmed it too. The reel that you made is really dope, which I'm guessing is that an actual, do you use an actual camera or is that actually just your phone?
Yeah, I'm using a good camera now. I'm
Really?
trying to level up, be a little bit
Nice.
more professional. So yeah, I use an actual camera for
What
that.
camera?
I actually just got a new one. It's the Sony 7A4, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I,
I'm not really too camera savvy, so I'm still trying to like learn how to use it and film it all. But
No, that's good. I'm a Canon user. It's like my other job right now, besides doing this, is as I'm actual photographer. I use Canon everything. Sony's dope though, especially for like I think you're starting off at a dope point. They're great for video, so I think you're starting strong for sure. But I like how you just like this reel here is dope. The red is perfect. It lights you up perfectly, with the little cat pillows and the
yeah,
checkered one. It's really good.
yeah, I
It's
just got lighting stuff too, so I'm trying to learn how to do all that.
It's killer, dude. Like next thing you know, you'll be like Alex Milton, just do all this other killer stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. I think you
Yeah,
could really hit hard.
but I think that song's called "Someone Else," though. That's
Someone
on
else.
an album I like just released like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's the one that I think right now I was just listening to before this that I think I kind of like more. That it
Yeah,
has more of that 2000s vibe for sure, which
yeah,
yeah, I grew
that's
up.
more of like the style I'm going for, like in the future.
Yeah.
Like songs I'm making now are more that vibe because that's like what I also grew up on. So like that's what it feels right to me. So
Hmm. What do you think your biggest influences were growing up?
growing up, I loved like I loved that whole like emo style. I don't know why I just gravitated towards that style. So I was like Yellow Card, Taking Back Sunday. I loved Brand New. Let's see. I listened to We the Kings a lot.
the whole like Warp Tour lineup was like what I loved. A Day to Remember,
Oh, they're
Hawthorne.
coming back with Warped Tour is what they're saying, just to let you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I saw that. It's only in like select states, I guess, right now, unless they're gonna branch it out. But
I wish it would be around. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I thought that was dope.
yeah, I think it's sick. That's what I grew up on, though.
Yeah. No, that's cool, dude. So, what was your hip hop influences then? That kind of got you to kind of start doing the drums and stuff like that when you first started.
I would say mostly because I don't even really listen to that style a lot, but it was
Yeah.
mostly Black Bear, Quinn 92, Christian French. It was like I wouldn't say it's a weird phase, but like I just
Yeah.
started like branching off into I guess electronic music.
Hmm.
But that it was I don't know if you heard of Laney a lot. I really liked like the indie pop a lot, but I don't know. I started like vibing with that a lot, and that's what influenced me at that time, I guess.
Nice. That's killer. No, no, no.
Yeah.
So mainly just emo and alternative pop for sure, which is I think is very indicative of what you say on your website is like I'm alternative pop, not rock, not this, but pop, which you have rock, especially in this new album, uh more of a rock theme to it, which I think is really nice and kind of aggressive. Really fits a lot of things that you say you like to listen to a lot. I have to say, like, what was the oh, I really kind of liked your acoustic version of oh, where was it? Um there's so many of those emo bands out there, but you did a really good job on one of them that I was listening to the other
Oh,
day.
Great Escape. The boys like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, Great Escape, I believe, is the one I was listening. Yeah, Great Escape. That was the one I liked that you did. I was like, man, I wish you did more of that because you
yeah.
have a good voice for it for sure. So, anyway,
That's what I'm leaning towards, at least for like originals right now. Like
yes.
I used to put out a lot of covers from like the emo
Hmm.
that back styles. Like they're all on like my TikTok, but I haven't done like covers in a while because I wanted to get more. I want people to care about like my original music rather than the
Hmm.
cover.
Oh, for
But like,
sure.
but either way, yeah, I did a bunch of those like acoustic covers. I did that for a long time.
That's cool, dude. That's really dope. What's so you just released your new one 2 weeks ago, which what was it called? I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's
I
good.
have you and like five other things that I'm trying to basically focus on. So, dissociative memories,
Yeah,
uh, or yeah,
yeah,
that's the one that you just released 2 weeks ago. Are you
yeah.
already writing new music as it is right now to get ready for another album, or are you getting ready to probably tour, or are you just what's your
No,
plans for like right now?
I'm just writing new music right now. I already have a bunch of songs that I want to get ready for a release, but I'm kind of thinking of how I want to release them. If I want to release like an EP or go for another album or just singles, but mostly right now I'm just writing new music and working on like my marketing right now because
Yeah,
like I said, I don't have a band. It's just me.
yeah,
I eventually the end goal is to tour. That is
yeah.
my end, but right now I'm just focusing on the music and slowly maybe trying to find people who would be interested in playing and slowly getting there.
Okay, so for marketing, who's doing your marketing? Is it just you, or is it that with the company's help that you have, or is
Yeah,
it somebody else helping you? So it's just you.
it's
Okay.
just me. Like I do work with that company.
Hmm.
I have a mentor through that company, so they help me and guide me. But it's predominantly all me for everything.
Dang, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
So how do you establish a flow of marketing what you have to when it's about time to release a new song?
So that are you like are you curious about like the process of
Yeah.
song to the marketing with the song?
Yeah, because of you have to market all the what you have, and then you're writing the new song. Then you have to plan out how you're going to market that new song. Like, how does that? Because also, I'm wondering, like, do you just? I'm sure you have, like you said, you already got like what 4 songs that you said you already kind of going through. Like, how do you decide? Okay, this is when this is going to go. This is when this is going to go, while also marketing all the rest of your stuff and getting prepared to market the next song.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a lot. So like right now, I guess I'll start with like picking a song that I like or want to make content to. So I'll pick the song. In the meantime, I'll like film content for it, like the reels I've all put out. I'll make
Hmm.
like 10 different reels, and I have like a scheduling platform right now, so I can schedule reels in the future. And so like once I have that all planned out and scheduled, I don't have to worry about that anymore for like a couple weeks.
Hmm.
So I'll like start to like brainstorm like new songs to release. So like I'll have one song to release in like a month. I'll start making the content in preparation for that. So I'll do the same thing, make like 10 reels or so, mark it all out, get emails, get that all going and make the website promotion for it.
Hmm.
So it's a lot in tandem, but it's all in preparation before it. I guess if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's what I do for that. But like it's mostly a lot of like email promotion, writing emails, making like I don't know what the word is. Promote not promotion, but like informative,
mhm.
informing other people that it will be coming out, getting everything together, the reels, the website, pre-save or whatever campaign you want to make for it. And it's like a lot of different tiers that all come together
Hmm.
eventually. But it's over a long pace of time. So it's not like I'm doing all this in one day and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's a final good question, or how when we go like one of what do you do to find time to kind of relax? I mean, you have a lot that's going on. You have your music career that you're working on. You work full time as an IT guy.
Yeah,
You're married, of course, which
yeah,
is how do you what do you find is the best way to manage what you do currently? I mean, I know it's always learn on the go, don't get me wrong. So a
yeah.
lot of times, even for me, I'm like, what am I doing right now? But what do you find is ways that you find time to like take for yourself, or what are some of the things that you use to just kind of like decompress? Like taking like, oh, I just take this day off, no interruptions, period in discussion. Doesn't matter who you are, I ain't talking to you, which is understandable. Or is there like, do you just find a way to micromanage like hours? Like what do you do for something like that? Because it seems like you would need that, in my opinion, like I do.
I feel like mostly weekends I don't do anything for like
Hmm.
or work at all. I'll just go and like hang out with my wife or friends and let loose, I guess.
Hmm.
That's mostly, I guess, what I do. I'm like a really go with the flow type of guy. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll do this day. Usually Monday to Friday is like my work days, obviously, for
Hmm.
mainly work, but like after work, I do like all my music stuff too. So I try to keep it like, I guess, on a schedule, but I'll still go with the flow, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
No, it does.
So Monday to Friday, like I'll do like all my work for actual work, music, and then Friday afternoon and Saturday and Sunday, I try to just do absolutely nothing for work and music. So that's why I have like everything all planned out with the scheduler, so it does
Hmm.
it for me. So even though like I have emails going out or I have posts going out or like ads going out, I'm not really doing anything. It's all
Hmm.
like automated.
Nice.
So that's kind of like how I balance it a little bit.
For sure. Uh, what do you guys what do you primarily use? Because you said you go do you still what's your main that you use? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook? What is the ones that you usually are using primarily? I mean, I know they're all scheduled, but what do you think is probably your main social that you usually use?
Probably Instagram.
Instagram.
I That's the one I like predominantly look at myself. So
Mhm.
I mostly Instagram. I used to be on TikTok a lot, but it got like overwhelming and like not it like hurts. I guess unhealthy. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Cause like
Yeah.
you start scrolling, you start seeing all these people that are do doing better than you. I guess so. It kind of like hurts the self esteem a little bit, and it just got like to a point where I was getting like upset with myself that I'm not doing better like all
Yeah.
these people. So it was just killing like the mental health, I guess.
I get that, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's killer. And then who maintains your website? You, I take it, as well with
Yep.
Squarespace, Wix. What do you use
Oh,
for
Wix.
that? Wix?
Yeah.
Dope, dude.
Wix right now. It's not the best, but it was easy and
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to move to another platform. So I'm like, I'll just make it work.
Yeah. Well, that's what we use right now for our own site is actually Squarespace is who we actually use for a lot of the
Yeah.
things we do. It works. I think I tried Wix once. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
need more. And then Squarespace is like, we offer more. And it's like, dope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. A lot of people use Squarespace. I think it's a better. It's definitely better than Wix, but
Yeah, if I could program myself, I totally would, but I
yeah,
can't, which kind of sucks.
yeah.
So, but no, that's dope. So Instagram is your main, of course, emailing for all that. Your CD, is it the new CD? I take it the new album is what you're going to be signing when people are asking for the free CD, or what's the free CD that you'll be sending to people right now?
It's mostly yeah. The free CD is mostly the new album,
Okay.
but like I sign them all. Like all the I have all my 3 albums and EP on CDs that I
Okay.
sign them all if you buy them.
Dope. And so, not touring now, or are you planning on doing any shows at all within the next month or so?
No, I don't actually.
No.
That's like my big the big thing I'm trying to push for myself this year is to start playing shows because I feel that's the last like building block I want for music is to start playing shows out because I feel like I have everything else down. Not perfectly, but I'm doing everything like the way I want to right now. It's just shows is definitely the one thing I want to push for this year and make happen.
Do you have like for our town, we have little pavilions or little music uh groups and all that that kind of set up stuff like we have like in our old town what we call um we have a new pavilion that they go. Do you ever just join up with those at all or for the summertime or basically
I've
just
like to play with other people or just
or
go and walk.
just to go play? Like for example, we have uh, small bars here and all that. But our music community is growing pretty big where we actually have like two places that people will try to go at least to start getting attractional points. So it's like for this year, is that what you probably think about doing is maybe like finding like a local venue and stuff like that? Or is that how you usually go about it?
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely we have like similar things around here. We'll
Yeah.
have like we have like small medium venue for like indie artists that aren't like the huge like sellout arenas that actual
Yeah.
tour go to. We have like the small medium
Yeah.
places that I would reach out to and book a show, find like other supporting acts, find relatively like newer artists to play with.
Okay. That's good.
That's
Is how big
um
is your music community in your own town? Is it fairly a pretty big place that supports local artists a lot or?
yeah, I'd say it's pretty big around here. It's like Worcester is where the city that I'm like near and there's like tons and tons of like not just bars but like small venues that people play.
Nice.
Like there's a decent amount of like local bands that are pretty big. Like there's a band that I look up to a lot. It's like 4 Year Strong. They're from Worcester,
Yeah.
so they're always around here and they play a lot of shows here with the like even at like the smaller medium venues. Even though they're in my opinion they're like huge, but they still play like the smaller venues, which is cool. So I think the community around here is actually pretty good for that.
Dope, dude. That's good. So new songs already in the works. Any of them close to being finished or just still writing out right now?
I do have four or five like finished, recorded, ready to release.
Nice.
I'm just debating like how I mentioned on before, like how I want to do the marketing, how I want to send it out, and when I want to like put it out, either singles, album, and how I want to promote it.
Okay. We will be having this most written and everything by the 20th of this month. So uh if you want to just go ahead and email me or whatever like that, and we can put it in the story, what we're writing down, like, hey, by the way, new songs coming out. This is when you want to check them out. That way people, if they come onto our site, they go like, oh, this is dope. And because we'll be focusing on, of course, sending this to you for you to revise so you know what to do, that we can also plug it in to tell people, hey, did this interview, go check it out, or however you want. It helps us, but we also want to do it because we want to help people like you. Because, like I said, it's like when I first started getting into this, like bands are dope. I love bands, killer. Love talking to artists, like talking to people like you. What I
Yeah.
like is hearing processes. But I ended up doing help setting up a show for Papa Roach, which
Oh,
was killer. Yeah, and but I mean, like the most memorable thing of that was talking to this guy who like 50-year-old dude who's been in this thing for 30 years and listening to his story. And I'm like, that's what I want to hear about because that's what I think a lot of people don't know that goes beyond is like the process of what keeps people like you going forward, or even for people like you who are like, hey, I'm working everything by myself and understanding what it takes to get to that point and going, oh, this is dope. And that's what we want to focus on, especially when we're doing these interviews and writing these shows. We want kids to know where they can go forward because of like when I was when I was my kid's age, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing
Yeah,
or where I'm going here or what work it takes. I mean, like you said, you got a full-time job right now. You're 30 years old, your full-time job. You're going when we were younger, I'm like, oh, it's easy. You're 20 years old. You got a freaking band. We're already on the road. We're already doing concerts. It's like,
yeah,
no, that's not how this works, man.
yeah.
And so it's killer to hear all this stuff. So um, let us know what we can so we can also help produce. The other thing that we would really like to have is if you can send me do you have any headshots at all of yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
I got
yeah.
some like pics.
Yeah. So if you could just like send like a good headshot of yourself and then also hey, if you could send maybe of like one of you in the studio or something like that, so we have because like what we do is we like to put certain things when you're reading over, you just have that eye candy in there, like this is you in the studio, or it could be like just you relaxed on the couch, whatever works. And this is about you, and
Yeah.
so uh, yeah, that's what we're looking for and what we'd like to go over. So just let us know what you're going on. If it's okay to let people know that you got like four songs in the barrel. Uh, if not, we can also leave that as well. So just let us know about that as well.
No,
Um,
anything you want to write or like I assume are you like posting this as the video or is it more this is just to keep the info and you write stuff?
we post this mainly we usually just record so we can write it all out. I usually go through the video to like maybe we can post a few of the things if it's good enough that we go into we edit the video and we will post it on there if that's okay with you. We have no problem saying no, it's mainly just writing if you don't want to. The last interview I did, the guy's like, well, if you really want to know about the download, and I'm like, I can't post this on the internet now. We gotta go into a little bit more. So I'm like, no, so it's up to you. I don't have any issues. Actually, one of our older stories we started in 2023 before a lot of stuff hit. I ended up doing a interview with a Christian metal band called Disciple, and they have a worship band called Honor and Glory, and we actually have that posted on our YouTube. So we're working on getting content like that back out there.
Yeah,
Actually, we're working on content, so we have actual artists in our own home studio table, kind of like a podcast idea as well. And our goal is to basically we'll do like maybe an hour, 30 minutes free, everybody can watch, and then the rest of it, because we need to unfortunately make money so we can get
yeah.
more content. We kind of do like a lot of what the other podcasts will do is like, hey, go to our Patreon, full things up there. That money's for the rest of the stuff that you want to watch, and that's how it goes. For you, it's an hour video. If you don't mind it, we probably just post it on YouTube.
No, yeah.
And
You can use whatever you want from this. That on it helps you, it helps me. So like
I
it's
appreciate it. Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, freaking content is content. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
So,
for
but we'll keep you posted within this week. I'm very happy that you got a hold of us. We had one artist that unfortunately had family issues going horribly wrong. And so I was like, we need another person here. And so when I we reached out to you at the same time, this guy's like, oh, thank God he responded to me.
yeah.
So it really helped us out. So we're like, we still have more going for us. So a lot of, like you said, a lot of work, a lot of talking, a lot of communication. And so, but yeah,
No,
it's been a,
awesome. Like I actually have a few questions for you if you don't mind.
oh, for sure.
Yes, so you mentioned like you do this for around your town. Like, is this like predominantly like for like Idaho for your town around there, or is it?
So for like local bands, we focus primarily like when we're doing like, oh, we'll find a local artist. Right now, my main interviews that I currently have are actually for around. So it's whoever is it for. Uh, but we also want to make sure that we kind of do target for our community. We want kids
Yeah,
around here because we had a good music scene here. Unfortunately, last year, just a lot of crap hit hard.
yeah,
And I also noticed a lot of people have like kind of the same thing you talk about. Is like they'll have a band and they'll start and it looks like they're doing very well. And then next, you're just like, there's a big argument and a big fight. We had two venues, I want to say last year, and we had some decent bands come down, and it was pretty cool. But then our biggest issues we had, and why we actually kind of originally started a lot of it, was like there was no media outlet really, no advertisement of where you could go find these people until like maybe day of.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting here like, this is ridiculous. This shouldn't be this way. And so I was like, well, let's start doing that. And when we started doing that, we had a reporter of ours whose sister died, unfortunately, because of, like I said, we're a highway town. So everything comes through here to go. We're, of course, in the Northwest. So everything that goes from like Cali over and you're going to the northern states, they'll come through here. Uh, our town's called Pocatello, Idaho. So it's like literally like go from Salt Lake City through us, Idaho Falls, and then like Montana, Wyoming, and everywhere else.
Okay.
And so we have, unfortunately, a lot of issues when it comes to the drug and people that come through here. And so a lot of people, so his sister died, unfortunately. That kind of threw a lot of wrench. Not to mention, like I said, like the sad thing is like we helped setting up this Papa Roach show happened to be the downfall of our local venue here. We had a pretty big venue, and the people that they were using as a marketing messed up royally because they had this concert, but it was raining horribly bad for the weather. And the band was like, we're going to pack up and go because of safety concerns and stuff like that. And then right at the last minute, they just started letting people in. And you're like, dude, so the crowd lost like two bands didn't even play due to the rain.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just bad. It was really bad. And so we're sitting here trying to go like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And so it was last year, took a break, needed to find something a little bit more stable because it just kind of crumbled around. And then this year I was like, no, I'm getting back into this. I'm just gonna, like you said, just gonna do it by myself with my wife's help. My wife will helps me out. Like the review we have of the other guy, my wife liked his sound. She's like, I'm gonna review that. I was like, go for it, man. Just whatever you want to do, I'm fine. Just let me know what it is. As long as it's not like, I don't know, some crazy weird cookie person, I think we're
Yeah.
okay. But as we want to get back into it. I love, like I said, I'm a photographer. I like photojournalism. Our goal eventually, our top tier goal is to be kind of like Vice and MTV to a degree, like combined. Like I want to go to, I'd love to go when we were young tours. I'd like to go to
Yeah.
venues like that, and I'd love to see Warped Tour back. I'd like to be able to be a place where we can bring that back in and help it out, help artists like yourself start growing bigger, but it all starts small. We also want to have a free magazine in our own town and hopefully also kind of like let it grow even further out. We have like I said, we're like 3 hours from Salt Lake City, and they have this dope little freaking magazine called Slug, which is like their
Oh,
alternative underground punk scene and stuff like that.
oh, that's
So
sweet.
yeah, and so we kind of want to do that for here, but it's like you said, very urban,
Yeah.
uh, very small. So we have like a lot of also, we're very our town's slightly religious because of a lot of the Mormons are around here, which is not a bad thing, but it's just what it
Yeah.
is. So you have a lot of urban kids that don't have a lot. We're also a college town. We have Idaho State University that's here, which is used to be big in the day, but now is kind of small. But we have like a great group of people, just needs to grow. Our
Got you.
local politics gets in the way, and we're just like, it needs to grow. So that's what we do. It's what we focus on. That's what we want to grow it forward on. Um, we live in the day, like you said, Instagram and all that, where it's bigger. I think a lot of the people that I have that I see that follow us are out of state.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of great people in here. Like our last posts that we posted on our site last month, we did a story of the car culture. So we have a local bike chapter here and a local car chapter here that we covered. So again, it's kind of like this alternative big group of people we want to talk to. We have a group of kids that like to bike everywhere they go. Very tight knit community, which is something to like, and that's what we focus on. Not just bands, not just musicians, just alternative lifestyles that people don't understand.
Yeah.
Next month, I want to go into skateboarders. Talk to skaters again. I miss skaters. I miss going to Zoomies. I miss seeing those skate freaking videos with the punk
Oh,
rap
I,
music in the
I feel
background.
that.
I know. Oh, I walked in there yes into our local Zoomies and I'm like, this is just not the same anymore. I think they're playing some
Yeah,
pop song and I'm like, what the is this? And so, but yeah, I want to go back into that era again because it's coming back, you
yeah.
know. I
I
don't know
feel
if yeah, I don't know if you noticed this. Like it's weird that 2000s music, like late 90s, early 2000s music has become like a staple now,
yeah,
which I don't remember it ever being like that in our time. I don't remember classic 80s rock being our thing.
yeah,
It was around, but it's like my 12-year-old is like, Dad, you don't understand, that's my thing. And I'm like, I grew up with my Kim. It's not your thing. I mean, I
yeah,
love the fact that you love this music and it sucks that it's dad rock, but it's not your thing. But she loves it. I mean, she loves them. She likes Taking Back Sunday. She likes Blink 180. I'm a massive Blink 182 fan. I mean,
yeah.
so much that like in the background, my wife got me what's my age again? Funko Pops, which is
Oh,
sick. And I could just look at my wife. I'm like, I got Tom naked in my room. It's so awesome. It's just
yeah,
like it's crazy, but it's the fact. It's just awesome, you know. So she loves all that music, and of course they get their own thing now. And I'm also that's the other thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find artists that kind of go with that flow as well. I don't mind pop. I don't mind folk or country music, so but I miss pop punk. I miss emo. I miss alternative music. We used to have it here, and it's just not there no more, and it sucks.
I feel that. Yes, I know. I have. I feel like that same way, honestly.
Yeah, it's like I went to Cali, like you. My family lives. I lived in Cali for like like 1.5 to 2 years. It's not that long, but it made a major impact in my life.
Yeah,
Going to a place from here, which is small. Like people like it's the city of Pocatello. I'm like, no, we're a town. We're just a really big town.
yeah,
And then you go to Cali, and I'm going to places like Oakland and San Francisco, and I'm like, this is not small. Like my
yeah,
parents live in Castro Valley, California, which is I don't even know how that works, but I'm like, that's small for them. And I'm
yeah,
going, that's not small, dude.
yeah.
So I want to kind of get back to some of that, and I miss some. I think a lot of people miss that, man. I think a lot of people miss like Tony Hawk, and because it's coming back, it's like they miss
Yes,
that toughness.
they miss that. They miss like the Bam Margera, all that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah. I mean, they're coming back too. I don't know why. They're mostly
yeah,
arthritic now, but
yeah.
it's like, dude.
Because no one else.
So
They have to come back. So I
yeah.
guess.
But no, it's that's our goal. So that's what we want to do. We want to help people like you. We want to help. I want to help people in our town. It's just we'll get a bout of people in our town coming through, and then they'll just kind of die down, like it's kind of dying down right now, and then we're going to come back. I just like, what was it? Last week, I found a young girl. She's written all her music, which is great. She hasn't recorded anything. And
Yeah,
her dad's like, you just gotta get this recorded. Really good sounding. I'm a very big indie guy as well. Brand new is indie emo is what I consider them. But I also
yeah,
like Mumford and Sons. I like the Lumineers. Like to me, that's still in that alternative niche to a degree. And she kind of has some of that going for her. But we find people like you who are like, you can do this. You can basically do what this gentleman's doing here, or this lady over, this chick's doing over here, and you can grow. You just got to work at it.
yeah.
So that's why we're doing what we do. That's kind of our little thing in a nutshell.
So I love that. I love that. Yeah. Definitely, there's a lot of people that are just afraid of how like big it seems and how many
Hmm.
things they do that they do nothing.
Yeah,
So I like that. Like you find people that break it down and how they do it themselves. I like that
yeah,
a lot.
appreciate that. But I'll let you get going. It's been an hour, which is dope. So we'll get the story started ASAP. I'll probably not probably. I'm going to be starting on this tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or so, depending on how things go. But because we have a lot we have to get done by Friday, I think is when the 20th is. So we'll be having that out going in. Like I said, if we could get just a headshot and maybe a couple of you got in the studio or in your home in office or however it goes, that'd be sick. So we can just put it in there. And we'll send a rough, not a rough draft, but a final draft to a degree of what we have. Send it to you to review it over and make whatever you need to change real fast, and then send it back to us and then we'll make those corrections and then we'll have it ready and posted by the 20th.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate you reaching out to me and having me on this, even though I'm not local to your town. I
You're good,
appreciate
dude.
being on this.
Oh no, dude, I appreciate you. Like I said, this is just something I want to do. Like I said, photojournalism, I love. I fell in love with this as a kid. I knew something hit when I was a kid. I never pursued it until I got older, but it's like National Geographic was a thing, dude. Like
Yeah,
the Afghan girl was like my all-time thing.
yeah,
If I could, I'd fly out to Massachusetts right now to sit with you, take
that
a
would be,
couple of shots, and do like, because that's what I want to do. This
yeah,
is something I want to do full time. And so we have to start small. So I appreciate you freaking taking the time to actually get on here, talk with us. Um, After this, I'm going to be talking to my wife right after we're done so we can figure out how we're going to go through all this because she's the one that, like your wife, she helps me out with everything she does. I mean, she's been in management for many years, so she's the one that helps me grounded on this, and we'll get this started ASAP. So,
dude, that's awesome. Yeah, you got to start somewhere, so
oh
that's
yeah,
sweet. I love that.
I appreciate that. All right, man. Well, you take it easy. You have a great rest of your weekend, and it was good catching up with you. And I'll, well, yeah, we'll keep in touch with you later on this week. So, thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. Thank you, man. Have enjoy your weekend as well.
You as well. Talk to you later.
All right, see ya.